Today we are going to talk about poor mindset versus the wealthy mindset. These are two types of mindsets that people have that affect their financial outcomes moving forward. And we're going to look at several parts and several places where the two mindsets clearly show a difference. I talk to people about finances. I always advise people about finances, but I realize there's always a block when it comes to creating the wealth themselves. There's usually something that they have created as a wall, either based on past experiences, based on what they have been taught, based on their fears, based on how their parents actually raised them or taught them about money, or how they acted towards money. So poor mindset versus a wealth mindset. And we're going to look at several aspects. So the first one is money and salary. Two people earning the same amount of money. The first one with a poor mindset is always thinking about paying my bills, paying my bills. The first thing they do with their salary is pay your bills, pay your bills. That is the biggest priority that they give to their money. They actually think that money exists to pay your bills. Your salary comes to pay your bills. And they end up either actually paying for expenses, assets that do not make sense, maybe toys and other gadgets that are exciting. And if they don't buy it immediately, they look at ways of increasing their credit worthiness by increasing their credit score so that they can qualify to have debt so that they can buy things in the future. So they are either paying for expenses or they're looking at ways to be able to get more access to credit to buy other things. So, but for them, it's always expenses. That is why you'll always hear people say, oh, I'm just paying bills. Oh, after I've paid the bills, everything revolves around bills and bills and bills. Then the other reverse is the wealth mindset. This person looks at their salary not as a way of paying for their expenses, but a way of creating capital for them. So expenses only are a byproduct of their living. So they pay rent because they have to live, but not because they have money so that they can pay rent. The poor person, if they have more income, they do not go on to save and invest and do all these things. They look at paying even more bills. So now you had a Netflix subscription, but you're earning a little bit more money. Now you're going to increase another Amazon subscription and another Prime delivery subscription and some other funny subscriptions just because you want to find a way of where to take your money. But the person who is has a wealth mindset gets the money and thinks, so how am I going to increase my capital? Or they look at this expense and look, I cannot eliminate this expense. How can I be able to pay for this expense without using my salary? That is a wealth mindset because they're looking at growth. They're looking at overcoming to pay bills and expenses that don't make sense, or finding a way to pay for them but not from the active employment. Those are two different mindsets as regards to money and salary. Then the other thing is children's education. People with a poor mindset, even if they have the same amount of money with a wealth person with a wealth mindset, they always look at education from what are the children having. Or they are having musical classes, they are having French classes, they are having swimming classes, whether they are professional or not, whether they lead to anything or not, they just do many activities that they can be able to talk to other parents with poor mindsets and say how their children are doing many things. But a person with a wealth mindset is thinking, is this education creating value? What is the return on investment on taking my children to this school vis-a-vis this school? Are they gaining any more value? Are they increasing their opportunities? Are they becoming more resilient? Are they becoming knowledgeable? They say swimming, but is this child able to swim after months in this school? Are they able to actually speak French because they learn French in school? And even if they learn French in school, is it going to be of value to them growing up? A person with a wealth mindset will prefer to invest in tertiary education, university. They will take their children, pay for piloting because This child will grow up, become a pilot, earn a little bit more income than the average person, or they'll take them to Harvard and other fancy schools, because having such a degree opens certain doors that your primary fancy education may not be able to open. They look at, is it going to leapfrog my child? Because every parent's intention should be, am I setting up my children for future success? And if primary school fancy education does not do that, then the person with the wealth mindset will say, no, let me take them to a normal school, then I can have enough money to invest and save so that I can build some income potential for them to inherit, or take them to a fancy university which can have a real impact on their career. Give them good opportunities, give them a good career that is going to give them more money. That is how they look at educational opportunities. Poor mindset versus rich mindset. They look at the return on investment and how much value it is going to bring to the actual career progression of these children that they have. So two different mindsets. Then the other thing is career opportunities. People with poor mindsets want to be safe. So you did accounting, you just want to be an accountant, you just want to do the things that are there. It has been giving you income for 5 years. Why don't I stick here? But with changes in technology and changes in opportunities and even changes in policy, foreign policy, UN policy, all these other policies, all these SDGs and all these things open certain opportunities that a keen person will actually be able to spot. But a person with a poor mindset is all still stuck to their ways. Career may actually come to an end because of technological obsolescence. What if AI takes over your career and is able to do better than a normal human? Are you still going to be stuck at that? But a person with a wealth mindset is thinking, things are changing in this direction. How can I position myself for this? How can I reap the benefits of this? Before people have these skills, can I be able to get these skills earlier? Because the people who earn a lot of money are not necessarily the people who have the highest experiences, but the people who have the right experience at the right time when no other people have not. Think about it. If a company has been trying to recruit somebody for a year, and there are only 2 people with the skills that they want, just think about it. How much bargaining power do you have? You can actually tell them, please double my salary, or I will not come to your employer, because whether you go there or not, the whole market only has 2 people. So they either pay you the money that you ask, or you move to the next employer. But now work in a career that has thousands of jobless people. My friend, they will give you what they will give you, and you will take because you have no choice. Career opportunities, the 2 mindsets. So I hope that you have a wealth mindset that is going to see you spot opportunities and grow in those opportunities to be able to have a niche offering in the job market. Then the other thing is threats to income, business, and employment. How do these 2 people with 2 different mindsets think about it? A person with a poor mindset want to put their head in the sand. They want to ignore. They want to be the ostrich, proverbial ostrich, that hides its head in the sand, yet leaves its juicy thighs for the lion to devour. So you've hidden your head in the sand, but assume nothing is going to happen. Threats are going to come, they're going to overturn you, destroy and dismantle you. But the person with a wealth mindset is thinking, what if this employment comes to an end? And it can. Look at times of COVID, people actually lost jobs. So the person who thinks in a wealth mindset is thinking, what will I do? Will I move back to my parents' house? What will I do? So they start thinking of securing their future. And this is where they start thinking about financial safety. Can you be able to pay at least 6 months of your expenses when you don't have any employment or any business income? 6 months of so you can still maintain the lifestyle for 6 months, so you're financially safe. Then financial security means you can be able to do it for a year. Then financial independence means that even if the earned income from active employment or business comes to an end, you can be able to survive. I'm not saying you will be going for fancy holidays, but you'll be able to survive. Then financial abundance is where you can be able to live abundantly, go for holidays and all these things without real income, and still be able to maintain without having this income, because your investments are actually taking care of you. The person with the wealth mindset is thinking about such things. So the person with the poor mindset does not think about these things. They want to retire at 60 and eat their pension. And if we come from Kenya or these countries where pension companies can easily eat your money, and when you enter into retirement find there's nothing, then my friend, you are in trouble. Don't be the ostrich that hides its head, its bony head, and leaves its fleshy, juicy thighs for the lions to devour. Threats to income. Two mindsets. Then the other thing is assets. The way poor mindset think about assets is terrible. So somebody with a poor mindset does not look at an asset and how much it is losing in terms of losing value or in terms of not generating income. Because if an asset is not generating income for you, then it is not helping you in your financial journey. So if you have 200 pieces of land that are not giving you any income, that is money that is lying dormant that should be creating money for you. Why should you be having 200 pieces of land? It doesn't make sense. Why should you be buying 3-4 cars and then say, I'm rich, I have 4 cars? That is stupidity, my friends. Assets that are depreciating in value like cars don't make sense. Even household items like I have TVs, fancy chairs. Have you ever tried selling household stuff? You actually sell them at much lower price than what you anticipate, because you value them based on how much you bought them, but people value them based on how the technology has gone and what new stuff they can actually get. So when you have that classification of assets as a poor person, of things that are either depreciating in value, things that are not adding any income to you, and things that are actually incurring costs for you, then you tend out to become poor because you have a poor mindset. But a person who has a wealth mindset looks at assets and thinks about, is it going to bring me money? So when they buy a car, they're not going to buy a car that is fancy for the fanciness of it. They're going to buy a car that is practical for their needs. Why buy a 4x4 car, a 4-wheel drive, if you're going to be driving from the city, from work to home in a tarmac road, day in, day out? They will get a crossover if they have to do a few up-country trips, maybe every second weekend. They get a 4-wheel drive if they live in the village where the roads are terrible and they actually need to move from place to place. That is how they look at assets and buying cars, buying according to need. Why do they need 2, 3, 4 cars? No, they just buy one good car, reliable car that doesn't have to be new, because remember, new cars depreciate faster than you can imagine. So they buy assets based on how it is going to serve them, and looking at ways of not dumping a lot of money in an asset that is incurring cost and is actually depreciating. They don't buy hundreds of pieces of land. They might buy one as they plan to build on it, and buy another as they plant trees that is going to increase value because of the biological assets in trees, but nothing more than that. They don't accumulate assets for the sake of assets, but they look at, is it bringing money to my pocket? Is it increasing my net worth? Is it making me wealthier? That is how they look at assets. Now let us look at how these two mindsets look at liabilities. Poor mindset look at liabilities and opportunities to have more money. I want to take another loan because I can. I want to take another loan because I qualify. My financial advisor told me that I qualify for a bigger loan. So you take a loan. Or you take a loan because you think that this bank is going to fall and you might as well have money. Or this circle is going to fall, you might as well have the money in your pocket. Or you get money because you like your account having money, but you do not look at the cost of capital. This money is not generating you income, but is incurring you interest, and it is not generating any value, and inflation is taking charge of your money. So your money is losing value, losing value, losing value, losing value, but you just want to accumulate cash, cash, cash. In fact, poor people have a lot of cash. I remember a billionaire in Kenya died the other day, and people, especially poor mindsets, were always talking, this guy did not have enough money. How can you be a billionaire and have like 100, like 4 million as cash? How? They don't understand that being wealthy is not about having cash, because cash is risky. In fact, in any business, people who have businesses which are cash intensive, they'll tell you one of the expenses is theft, because cash can easily be taken from the drawers. People can easily steal cash. Cash is very vulnerable to theft and inflation and all these things, so they don't keep cash lying around. They have assets and investments that are cash flow generating, but as soon as the money comes, it goes to other investments if it's not going to meet their needs. That is how they look at liabilities. So they do not incur liabilities to have money, which is again losing value. Poor people are taking loans for second, third, fourth cars when they do not need. They take loans for second, third, fourth pieces of land in the middle of nowhere when they are generating no income. They look at taking money to build a credit history and be able to qualify for more money, instead of thinking, am I taking this money because it is making sense, or is it going to an investment? Because remember, it is not just about taking money. If you're going to take money to invest, ensure that your investment is going to generate much more interest. So if you're taking a loan that is 12%, example, 12% per annum that you're paying in interest, ensure that it is generating to you 12% plus inflation rate plus an acceptable interest rate gain. So if your acceptable interest rate gain with having removed inflation is say 5%, then what you're going to charge, if the prevailing inflation rate is 2%, is going to be 12%, the money that you borrowed, then 2% for the inflation adjustment, plus 5, which comes to 19%. If that investment is not making 19% for you every year, then it is not making any sense for you. That is how wealthy people look at it. But poor people look and compare potatoes to arrowroots and think they are the same. Oh, they're just starches. Oh, they're just tubers. Oh, they have starch. They're the same. No, they're not the same. You take a loan to invest in something that has no tangible benefit and incur liability in interest that does not go in tandem with that investment. Two different mindsets. Poor mindset that are driving people down the drain. Then investing and passive income. People with a poor mindset do not want to look at investment, because remember, like we talked about, they're always looking at how is it paying bills, and sometimes investment takes a while before you can actually see the cash flow. So they're always not looking at money and thinking, let me invest so that in the future I can have access to more money that I have not actually put effort into. They're looking at investing as a way of having less money to enjoy now. So they do not take the opportunity to be able to invest and generate passive income, because for them passive income is opportunity cost of not spending. I could be going for Mombasa on holiday. I could go into this fancy location on holiday. But if I put money in investments, I can't. So that is how they think. But a person with a wealthy mindset is thinking, I was to Mombasa last year. I don't need to go again. Let me take this money, invest here, so that in the future I have some money to be able to pay school fees for my child for the next year's fees. That is how they think about it, anticipate how they are going to gain in the future and what expenses they are going to pay without going back to their pocket. And that is the whole idea. Then the final thing with these two mindset is financial vision. People with a poor mindset have no financial vision. They have no goals. They just live day by day. In fact, some of them over spiritualize it and start saying, oh, if a bird does not worry about where it will sleep, why should I worry about it? But also the same Bible says that a wise man thinks ahead and plans for it. A wise person invests. But what are you doing? You're not thinking about the future. You're not planning about the future. So if you fail to plan how you're going to grow your wealth, how you're going to improve your financial situation, then you're planning to fail. But people who have a wealth mindset have a plan. I am here. Is this where I want to be in the future? Do I want to grow like this? They have a plan, and then they have laid down set procedures to be able to do this. They plan in advance and are actually more realistic. Poor people are so optimistic, you'll be shocked. People with a poor mindset are so optimistic. They're always thinking, oh, things are going to be better. I'm going to be earning more money in the future. Oh, I'm going to be promoted in the future. You're optimistic. Things that you have no control over, whether you're going to be promoted, whether the economy is going to be better, is not in your hands. But people with a wealth mindset look at things and put them in their hands. What can I control? I can't control the economy. I can't control whether my employer will desire my services in the future. But I can control how much money I collect in the future. How much wealth potential I may have in the future based on my income now. They take financial things in their hands. Two mindset that are either going to take you down the financial hole or are going to flourish you and make you wealthy. I hope you're learning, you're growing and becoming better in your financial affairs. There is no need of talking about finances if you do not check your mindset, because your mindset is going to determine your wealth creation potential. Thank you. My name is George Kingori. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a like and a comment down in the comment section. Thank you and enjoy your